It's the 1st of September 2025. This is a brand new edition of Newsfirst's Primetime News coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo, bringing you the news tonight for the Newsfirst team. I am Jaimal Ratnayaka.
And I am Hashni Patirana. Let's start off with a look at our headlines for tonight.
President visits Kachativu.
අපේ භූමිය දූපතක්ද මහමුහුදද අහසද ගොඩබිමද ආරක්ෂා කිරීම මතු අනාගතයට ආරක්ෂා කොට ලබා දීම අපේ වගකීම. ඒ වගකීම ඉටු කරන්න අපි බැඳී සිටිනවා.
Foundation stone for the new Jaffna International Cricket Stadium laid by President. E-library program also launched. Modi, Putin and Xi meet. Hints emerge of a new bloc. CID postpones recording statement from former President's Secretary Saman Ekanayaka. Message of gratitude from former President Ranil, who is currently out on bail. Another case filed against former President Ranil and former cabinet over selling phosphate below market rates. Alliance talks continue at opposition leader's office. On to tonight's top story. President Anukumara Disanayaka, who is in Jaffna, visited the Kachativu island this evening. The president inquired on the problems faced by the fisherfolk in the area.
The president highlighted that he is carrying out his duty to safeguard the island of Kachativu for the people at a meeting held today in Mailidi, Jaffna.
Kachativu Island holds great importance, especially for our fishing community. Today much discussion has arisen about Kachativu Island. It is our duty to protect our land, islands, sea and sky, and to preserve them for future generations. We are committed to fulfilling this responsibility. I would like to emphasize that our seas, our islands, our lands and our skies belong to our people.
The third phase of the Mailidi Fisheries Harbour Development Project in Jaffna was inaugurated today, led by President Anukumara Disanayaka. This year, a budget of 298 million rupees has been allocated for the project. Strategically situated along the Pork Strait, this port plays a key role in supporting the local and regional economy. The harbour also features a 3.5 hectare basin.
Today in both the north and the south, the old political movements have been defeated, but now they are trying to rise again. On what basis? They aim to stir tensions between the north and the south using racism. We urge the people not to fall prey to such divisive politics. I acknowledge the problems you face, and our government is working to address them step by step. We need time for these efforts. By this September, we will complete 1 year in office. Many plans have been made and we are working hard to build this country, reject racism and foster unity among all citizens. Should we divide and wage war, or should we build a country together? We are all born in one nation and we must create a land where we live in harmony. The burning of the Jaffna Library remains a dark and unforgivable chapter in our history. The people of the north entered the library with their sandals removed, as is customary in sacred places. But it was destroyed in a racist act of fire. Such mistakes cannot be justified by history. We must learn from these events and ensure they never happen again. Even today, when we dig this land, we uncover the remains of our own people. Controversies like the ceremony graves have prompted a formal investigation. We have nothing to hide, and the purpose of this investigation is to prevent such tragedies in the future. Our goal is to build a harmonious nation. This country is no longer governed solely from Colombo. In the past, people in the north felt disconnected from the government and called for a separate administration. But that era is over. Today the government represents all citizens. A country once tangled like a ball of thread is now being carefully rewoven into a new fabric. Together we can create a beautiful, united nation.
The construction of the proposed Jaffna International Stadium in Mandatheu, Jaffna was launched with the participation of President Anukumara Disanayaka earlier today. The stadium is being built under the Sri Lanka Cricket National Pathway Programme. 3 players who represented Sri Lanka on the national and youth circuit from Jaffna, Vijayakanth Vyaskanth, Tishan Vidushan and Newton Ranjit Kumar, also attended the event. The construction of this international cricket stadium is being funded by Sri Lanka Cricket. Located on a 138-acre land in Mandaithiu Island, this sports city will include a swimming complex, a modern indoor stadium for multiple sports, star-class hotels and restaurants, luxury apartments, shopping complexes and recreational centres. The International Cricket Stadium will be built on over 48 acres of land and will feature 10 central pitches.
We have many occasions to celebrate when we are divided, but I believe we have one opportunity which can be celebrated together, and that is the victories we achieve in cricket. The time we won the 1996 World Cup was a time of war. The North was controlled by armed groups. However, I have heard that on the day of the World Cup final, even those armed groups laid their weapons down and watched the match. So what does this show? It shows that we can unite through sports, setting aside all boundaries and differences. That's one reason this stadium is important. I believe this is not just a stadium, it is a special opportunity built to create unity in our country. We have a beautiful dream for the future, a national team represented by the Sinhalese, Tamils and Muslims. When they play on the field, Sinhalese, Tamils and Muslims will all sit in the pavilion together and cheer for the national team. We must make that dream a reality.
President Andrukumara Dissanayake participated in the inauguration of the project to develop the Jaffna Library into an e-library. During the event, the website of the e-library, jaffna.dlp.gov.lk, was officially launched for the Jaffna Public Library, allowing users to access the library's collection online. A symbol of pride for the people of Jaffna, the library is home to one of the largest book collections in Asia. It is used daily by a wide range of visitors, including school and university students as well as local and international researchers. The Jaffna Regional Office of the Department of Immigration and Emigration was declared open today by President Andrukumara Dissanayake. The new office, located within the Jaffna District Secretariat premises, is fully equipped with modern technology and facilities. With the number of passport applications in the northern province steadily increasing, the establishment of this office fulfills the need for a more accessible service point. Thereafter, President Dissanayake addressed a gathering of state officials of the Jaffna district.
The general public does not hold a very favorable view of our public service. Many people believe that public services are inefficient and difficult to access, and there is some truth to that perception. So what must we do? You are provided with salaries and all other benefits using taxpayers' money. Your responsibility is to ensure that these services are delivered effectively to the public. However, a significant level of inefficiency persists among our public officials. Strengthening the civil service and promoting digitalization are among the top priorities of our government. We also hope to provide the remaining portion of this year's salary increments by next January. Many government vehicles are over 15 to 20 years old, making it difficult for staff to perform their duties efficiently. We plan to import 2,000 new cabs this year to address this. Instructions have been issued to all ministries to replace old computers and systems to ensure efficient operations. To build this country, we need a strong and capable public service. Every developed nation has a robust public service supporting it, and we must do the same. Your signature carries authority. The signature of a district secretary, a divisional secretary or any public official holds weight. If these signatures are used to serve the people effectively, we can guarantee that you will be safeguarded.
Newsfirst with the people.
The 10-member Shanghai Cooperation Organization adopted the Tianjin Declaration, which reaffirmed the bloc's firm commitment to fight against terrorism, separatism and extremism. The Tianjin Declaration, signed and adopted by all members, including India, Pakistan and Russia, called for an end to cross-border movement of terrorists. This year's Shanghai Cooperation Organization is taking place in Tianjin, a northern Chinese city in the Bohai Sea. The summit will gather more than 20 foreign leaders and the heads of 10 international organizations. They include the leaders of SCO member states, India's Narendra Modi, Russian President Vladimir Putin, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, President of Kazakhstan, President of Uzbekistan, President of Kyrgyzstan and President of Tajikistan. In a powerful display of diplomacy and regional solidarity, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping came together at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit 2025. They could be seen chatting and laughing at the second day's summit. After posing for a family photo of the SCO, the trio were again seen engaging in talks while walking to the main arena, where the major talks took place. Chinese President Xi Jinping urged members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization to stay true to its mission by promoting peace and cooperation based on fairness and justice.
By maintaining fairness and justice, promoting a correct view of World War II history, opposing Cold War thinking, bloc confrontation and bullying behavior, safeguarding an international system centered on the United Nations, supporting a multilateral trading system with the World Trade Organization at its core, advocating for orderly and equitable world multipolarization, inclusive and beneficial economic globalization, promoting the construction of a more just and reasonable global governance system, continuously and pragmatically promoting the reform of the SCO while strengthening resource investment and capability building, ensuring the organization's mechanism is more complete, decision making is more scientific and actions are more efficient, quickly activating centers for addressing security threats and challenges such as comprehensive and counter-narcotics centers, and building the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Development Bank as soon as possible, providing stronger support for member countries' security and economic cooperation. Dear colleagues, China has always linked its own development with that of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, associating it with the aspirations of the peoples of its member countries for a better life.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi noted that keeping the global south imprisoned in an outdated framework is gross justice.
India has always played a constructive and positive role as an active member. India's thinking and policy regarding the SCO is based on three main pillars: S, security; C, connectivity; O, opportunity. In the context of the first pillar, S, that is security, I would like to say that security, peace and stability are the basis of the development of any country. But terrorism, separatism and extremism are big challenges in this path. Terrorism is not just a challenge to the security of a country, but a common challenge for the entire humanity. No country, no society, no citizen can consider itself safe from it. That is why India has emphasized unity in the fight against terrorism. Keeping the aspirations of the global south confronted to outdated frameworks is a grave injustice to future generations. We cannot show the multicolored dreams of the new generation on the old black and white screen. The screen will have to be changed. SCO can become a guide to multilateralism and an inclusive world order.
Russian President Vladimir Putin stated that the outcomes of the Alaska summit might contribute to a peaceful resolution of the Ukrainian crisis.
9 мая в Москве торжественно отмечался юбилей победы в Великой Отечественной войне и разгрома нацистской Германии.
We greatly appreciate the efforts and proposals of China, India and other strategic partners aimed at promoting the settlement of the Ukrainian crisis. I would like to note that the understandings reached at the recent Russian-American summit in Alaska, I hope, are also moving in this direction, paving the way for peace in Ukraine. Any system that would replace the outdated Eurocentric and Euro-Atlantic models and take into account the interests of the widest possible range of countries would be truly balanced, meaning that it would not allow some states to ensure their own security at the expense of the security of others. Last year, the average growth in gross domestic product across member states was over 5%, with industrial production increasing by 4.6%. All these figures surpass global averages. National currencies are increasingly used in mutual settlements. We support the issuance of joint bonds by member states, the creation of the SCO's own payment, settlement and depository infrastructure, and the establishment of a bank for joint investment projects. All of this will enhance the efficiency of our economic exchanges and shield them from external market fluctuations.
Объединяющий единомышленников.
Russian President Vladimir Putin and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi shared a car heading for their bilateral meeting at the SCO summit in Tianjin. According to media sources on the ground, the pair spoke together for at least 30 minutes in the stationary car outside the hotel before journeying to the bilateral. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or the SCO, began in 1996 as a security bloc dubbed the Shanghai Five. It was formed by China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan to settle their border disputes following the end of the Cold War and the collapse of the Soviet Union. But in June 2001, the group evolved into the SCO, including Uzbekistan, with headquarters in Beijing. In 2017, the group expanded to include India and Pakistan. Iran in 2023 and Belarus in 2024 were also added as full members. In addition, the organization has 14 key dialogue partners, including Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Turkey, Myanmar, Sri Lanka and Cambodia. SCO member states account for 43% of the world's population and 23%, or almost a quarter, of the global economy.
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposits. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability. A trusted place for your fixed deposits. Valuable FD, 10.25% for 15 months, 11% for 24 months. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability.
Former Presidential Secretary Saman Ekanayake was informed not to appear before the Criminal Investigation Department today, despite a prior summons issued for a statement. He was scheduled to appear in connection with an ongoing investigation involving former President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The inquiry pertains to allegations of misusing 16.6 million rupees in public funds for a private overseas visit.
Former Presidential Secretary Saman Ekanayake had previously appeared before the CID on 5th of August, where he was questioned for nearly 6 hours regarding the same matter. Former President Ranil Wickremesinghe was arrested and presented before the court following the statement delivered by the former Presidential Secretary. When Wickremesinghe was presented before the Fourth Magistrates Court on the 22nd, Additional Solicitor General Dilip Piri stated that it was former Presidential Secretary Saman Ekanayake who had approved the funds for the trip in question. He also informed the court that Ekanayake was a key suspect in the case. Former President Ranil Wickremesinghe thanked everyone who supported him online while he was in remand custody for allegedly misusing 16.6 million rupees in public funds.
මම අත්අඩංගුවට ගත් වෙලාවේදී මං වෙනුවෙන් පෙනී සිටි ඔන්ලයින් ඔබ සියලු දෙනාටම මගේ ස්තුතිය. මින් පසු වේලාවක මං ඔබ මුණ ගැහෙන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. යලිත් ස්තුතියි.
Several political parties who advocated for the release of Ranil Wickremesinghe, who was in custody of allegations of misappropriation of 16.6 million rupees in public funds, met today at the opposition leader's office.
General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party Dumida Dissanayake, Senior Vice President of the SLFP Mahinda Amaravira, General Secretary of the UNP Thalathatha Korala and General Secretary of the Samagi Janabalawege Ranjit Madhuma Bandara participated in this discussion. General Secretary of the UNP Thalathatha Korala, who took part in the discussion, did not share her views with the media afterward.
සාකච්ඡාවක් යන මම මේ සාකච්ඡාවට ආවේ නැහැ මම වෙන වැඩ කරා. සමගි ජන බලවේගයේ ඔෆිස් එකේ මේ ඔබතුමාලා දැන් පේන්නේ මොකද මේ? අනේ නෑ සමගි ජන බලවේගයේ ඔෆිස් එකේ නෙමෙයි. අපි මේක විපක්ෂ නායක කාර්යාලය. ඉතින් අපි සියලු පක්ෂ සාකච්ඡා කරනවා කියලා ඔබතුමාලා දන්නවා. ඉතින් එවැනි සාකච්ඡාවක් තමයි තිබ්බේ. දැන් මොකද්ද කරන්න හදන්නේ ඔබතුමාලා ඉස්සරහට සම්දානයක් හදනවද? නෑ මේක සන්දානගත වීමක්වත් ඡන්දිල්ලන්න එකකතාවයක්වත් නෙමෙයි. ඔබතුමාලට පේනවා ඉතාමත් පැහැදිලිව දේශපාලන මර්ධනයක් ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා. මේ මර්ධනයට විරුද්ධව තමයි අපි සාකච්ඡා කරන්නේ. මේ සජිත් මහත්තයා රනිල් මහත්තයා එක දේශපාලන ගමනක් යනවාද කියලා අහන්නේ. අපි මේ යන්නේ මර්ධනයට එරෙහිව ආණ්ඩුවේ ඒකාධිපතිවාදයට විරුද්ධව. අපි විපක්ෂයේ පක්ෂ ඔක්කොම එක්කව කියලා මේ ගමන යන්නේ. නැතෝ දේශපාලන ගමනක් යන සූදානමක් නැහැ. ඒව යන්නේ මැතිවරණ කාලේනේ. මුඩට දැම්ම හදන්නේ. මැතිවරණ කාලේ තමයි දේශපාලන ගමන යන්නේ. දැන් යන්නේ ආණ්ඩුවට විරුද්ධව මේ මර්ධනයට ඒකාධිපතිවාදයට
විරුද්ධව තමයි අපි දැන්.
However, no member representing the Sri Lanka Potujana Peramuna participated in this discussion. When Newsfirst inquired, General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Potujana Peramuna, Attorney at Law Sakara Karyawasam, stated that although his party received an invitation, they would not participate in any discussions regarding coalition building. The Sri Lanka Potujana Peramuna emphasised today that they are not interested in entering into political alliances with either the Samagi Jana Balawegaya or the United National Party.
I don't care about Ranil Wickramasinghe's impression of me. If I wanted to score points, I could have done it during his presidency. But we are engaged in a principled politics. I don't think building alliances is a topic that should be discussed today. So if someone thinks that this alliance, a force created around a single incident, can bring about a massive political change, I don't think that will succeed. Right now, as the opposition, we should unite against the oppression of the people. This unity is not about forming an alliance, a new political party or a force. Under no circumstances will the Sri Lanka Potujana Peramuna form an alliance with the United National Party or the Samagi Jana Balawegaya. We will pursue our own path based on our policies. If the majority of the people of this country accept that path, they will give us the leadership in the future. If the United National Party or the Samagi Jana Balawegaya accept our policies, the policies presented by Mahinda Rajapaksa, which are included in the Mahinda Chintana, they can abandon their own policies and join us.
ඒ ප්‍රතිපත්ති සමග එකඟ වෙනවා නම් තමන්ගේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති අතහැර දාලා එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයට හරි සමගි ජන බලවේගයට අපිත් එක්ක එකතු වෙන්න පුළුවන්.
The Supreme Court today granted permission to hear a fundamental rights petition filed against a group of respondents, including former President Ranil Wickramasinghe and the former cabinet ministers, claiming that fundamental rights were violated by issuing phosphate stocks from the Eppavala phosphate quarry during the tenure of the previous government to a few favoured companies for export at prices below the standard market rates. The petition was filed by the Centre for Environmental Justice.
A three-judge bench of the Supreme Court, comprising Justices Janak De Silva, Priyantha Fernando and Sampatha Begun, heard the petition today. Representing the petitioners, Attorney at Law Dr. Ravindranath Dabare pointed out that the respondents acted to supply consignments of phosphates to certain favoured companies at prices far below the global market price per metric ton. He alleged that this caused significant economic loss to both the government and the public. Attorney Dr. Dabare further revealed that Chamara Sampath Dasanayake, who served as the minister responsible during this period, had reportedly exerted influence on state institutions, including the Department of Geological Surveys and Mines, to issue the necessary permits for exporting the phosphate. Considering the points presented, the three-judge bench of the Supreme Court scheduled the petition for hearing on the 9th of March.
Particularly during this export period, while the international market value of 1 metric ton of phosphate was around 150,000, these were exported from Sri Lanka's Lanka Phosphate Corporation to private companies for as little as 26,000. As a result, this caused a major loss to Sri Lanka, to the government and to the people.
The case against Nadun Chintaka Vikramaratne, also known as Harakata, a prominent drug trafficker accused in connection with a break-in at a house in Mitotamulla, where a three-wheeler and 26,000 rupees in cash were stolen, was called for evidence examination before the Colombo High Court today. The proceedings are being conducted before Colombo High Court Judge Lanka Jairatna.
Nadun Chintaka Vikramaratne alias Harakata, who is known to be a prominent drug trafficker, was brought to the Criminal Investigation Department in Colombo this morning. He was later produced before the court, where under the supervision of Deputy Solicitor General Sudarshana De Silva, the testimonies of two witnesses listed in the complaint were recorded. The court adjourned the evidence examination until the 29th October.
Today marks the 41st War Heroes Memorial of the Police Special Task Force.
The 41st War Heroes Memorial Ceremony of the Police Special Task Force was held at the STF War Memorial at the Katukurunda Training School. Inspector General of Police Attorney at Law Priyantha Veerasurya and the Secretary to the Ministry of Public Security, retired Senior Deputy Inspector General Ravi Senaviratna, were among the attendees. The ceremony honoured the memory of 4 STF officers who were killed in a terrorist attack on the 1st of September 1984 while on duty in the Tikkham area of Jaffna. It also paid tribute to all STF personnel who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to the nation.
Those who fought in the war did so not for their personal glory, but with the noble purpose of defending our nation's security and freedom. Because of their selfless sacrifice, we are able to live here today safe and free. On this day of remembrance for our war heroes, we honor them, we respect them. The immense debt we owe can never be fully repaid. Beloved daughters and sons, mothers and fathers, all of you who endured countless hardships, you are our silent heroes. It is you who carry the deepest scars of the war. Your sacrifice is higher than any other. As a grateful nation, we strive to share and honor your pain.
Today marked a historic milestone for the Colombo Stock Exchange as the all-share price index closed above the 21,000 point mark for the first time ever.
At the close of trading today, the all-share price index surpassed 21,000 points for the first time in the history of the stock market. The all-share price index rose by 65.09 points during the day, closing at 21,062.45 points. Previously, on the 29th of August, the all-share price index had briefly surpassed the 21,000 mark during intraday trading but closed below that level at the end of the day. A significant turnover of 13.2 billion rupees was also recorded today.
The Colombo Stock Exchange has set a historic record today with the all-share price index surpassing 21,000. In fact, between last September and this September, the all-share price index has increased by about 100%. There are reasons for this, including the proper implementation of the country's current economic reforms and the presence of a favourable political environment in the country. This has increased investor confidence.
A groundbreaking baseline study conducted by the Department of Fisheries and Marine Sciences at the Ocean University of Sri Lanka has revealed an ecological marvel beneath the waters of the Hambantota International Port.
Despite being an artificial breakwater, the reef at Hambantota International Port now supports the highest diversity of reef-associated fish in southern Sri Lanka, outperforming natural reef sites such as Baligama, Polhena and Talaramba. Using a standardized swim-timed transect method across 5 into 20 meters zones at depths of 0.5 to 5 meters, researchers recorded fish species by family and feeding behavior. The site also supports a diverse food web, including ornamental species, commercial fish like trevallies and emperors, and even lobsters. 8 species were found to be unique to the HIP Bay, including the blue-green chromis and red-fin butterfly fish. A magnitude 6.0 earthquake has hit eastern Afghanistan near the border with Pakistan. The death toll has risen to more than 800 people, and flooding from the past few weeks and landslides are hampering rescue efforts. A powerful 6.0 magnitude earthquake struck eastern Afghanistan late last night, killing more than 800 people and injuring over 2,500. The shallow quake, with its epicenter near the city of Jalalabad, caused extensive damage and destroyed numerous villages, particularly in the mountainous Kunar province. Rescue efforts are underway, but operations are being severely hampered by the region's rugged terrain, landslides and blocked roads. The casualty count is expected to rise as rescuers reach remote cut-off areas. According to the US Geological Survey, more than 1.2 million people have likely felt a strong or very strong shaking during the earthquake and the first 5 aftershocks throughout the night. Casualties and destruction swept across at least 5 provinces in Afghanistan, with tremors also felt in Pakistan and India. The disaster has exacerbated the country's existing humanitarian crisis, prompting the Taliban government to appeal for international aid. United Nations and other aid agencies have teams on the ground providing emergency assistance. The UN's World Food Programme said its staff members are on the ground in earthquake-affected areas of Afghanistan, working to get food to those in need. In a post on X, the agency also said it is ready to coordinate with other humanitarian groups on logistics and air services. Meanwhile, world leaders, including those from China, India, Turkey, Azerbaijan and Pakistan, have sent their condolences for the bereaved families. This is the most recent in a series of deadly earthquakes to hit Afghanistan, a country located in a seismically active zone where the Eurasian and Indian tectonic plates converge.
Indonesia's President Prabowo Subianto has pledged to revoke lawmakers' perks and privileges, including a controversial $3,000 housing allowance, in a bid to ease public fury after nationwide protests in which 6 people have died.
Indonesia's President Prabowo Subianto told a televised news conference in the capital Jakarta that they had agreed to cut the housing allowance and suspend overseas trips for members of parliament. It was a rare concession in response to mounting public anger. After nationwide protests escalated across the world's third largest democracy last week, Prabowo during the weekend summoned the country's prominent figures and cancelled a high-profile trip to China. 5 days of protests began in Jakarta on Monday, sparked by reports that all 580 lawmakers receive a monthly housing allowance of 50 million rupiah. The allowance, introduced last year, is almost 10 times the Jakarta minimum wage. The protest grew wider and more violent after the death of 21-year-old ride-hailing driver Afan Kurniawan. A video on social media apparently showing his death during a rally in Jakarta on Thursday shocked the nation and spurred an outcry against the security forces. Kurniawan was reportedly completing a food delivery order when he was caught in the clash. The death toll from riots that broke out in multiple cities rose to 6 after authorities in Yogyakarta on Sunday confirmed that Friday's clashes between rock-throwing demonstrators and riot police killed a 21-year-old university student. Prabowo reiterated that his government respects freedom of expression as guaranteed in Indonesia's constitution and international conventions.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.